Okay, we're live. How's everybody doing?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Tonight we
I'm doing
have
great.
the infamous Chattanooga Ed and Fish Room Fever. This was a good, when I wanted to have them on, I first thought about that these guys are the ones that actually got me started with my own fish tanks, getting them over to my place, helping me get them all set up. And then who knew that down the line I would have 7 or 8, maybe 9 tanks. I lost count recently. But thanks, guys, for coming. Thanks for being on.
Oh, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yes. Thank you for allowing us to pick your brains tonight.
Yes.
Definitely. I don't know how much there is to pick at, but you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, and he's the smart one.
Oh, boy.
We are in trouble. I thought I was doing comic relief tonight.
Listen, Foxy is the brains of our operation.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I'm going to let you do your usual, Foxy, so saying the hellos, kind of going down that list.
Sure.
Let's see.
First one in tonight was Lori. Hello, Lori. Eric. Exotics. Troops Tropical Aquatics. See John Larson. Hello. Ed, you're up here. John McKenzie. Kira. Welcome. Got a good selection of people in here tonight. John,
Yes,
my fish
we do.
tanks. Brianne's Fish Room. Hello, Brianne. IHSP. Not going to say her name wrong. Oh, goodness. Petzotics, I said before. Sandy Farrell. Hello. Welcome, everybody.
Hello, all
Holly
Muppet. So, I guess we can start out by asking a few questions. Before we start, though, we all received very sad news today, and as everybody knows or may not know, Aquarium Cop passed away, and he meant a lot to a lot of us. So we thought that maybe it would be appropriate just to have a minute of silence in remembrance to him. So let's do that for a moment. Okay, if y'all want to get started, we can do that. My first question would be, and I think we probably ask y'all this, both of you, every time you've been on somebody's stream as a guest, but it's always changing. So my first question would be, how many tanks do you have? How many actual fish tanks do you have?
Ed?
I have about 55 that have living things in them and about probably another 5 ready to go. So I have about 60.
Whoa.
And I think I am thankfully down to about 40. I just broke down 16 earlier today. And that video is uploading right now.
Wow.
So Ed's room is growing and your room is
update us on that, huh?
Yeah.
You are accumulating what Ed is accumulating what you are getting rid of.
I think I'm to the point of having more empty tanks being stored than actual tanks set up, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
James
not
is
always, I
preparing.
wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Do you have
He's
that
not
big
giving
tank
it up.
set up yet?
I do not. So that's going to take a good bit of time, and that's not really the issue, but financial investment and some ingenuity to get that one set up. 220 gallon.
Yeah.
I have to remove the upper trim because both of the top braces, it's one of the tanks that has 2 braces on it versus the center brace. They both pop. So I have to remove the top trim, rebuild bracing for it, and also reseal it just because it sat in storage so long and it wasn't climate controlled.
Right.
And I just don't trust that much water going in the living room without resealing the tank first.
I wouldn't want to do that either.
And build a stand.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm hoping within the next week or so that I could get the ball rolling on that project.
And we have a few more people rolling in here. Hello, Sandy Doherty. Hello, Patty. Jeff's Tanks. Holly. Dan Slee. Geek Boy. S. Robert from Tennessee Aqua. Mismatched Socks. Hello, everyone. Midroll. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
dropping
joining.
the link. Chewy. Let's see. Oh, the chat is
Fisherman.
jumping. Big J. Welcome, everybody. Bob. If I've missed anyone, I apologize.
Can I ask a question to someone in the chat?
Surely.
Sure.
Bob, did you get your hair cut today? I was running late to an appointment, but I saw his truck in front of a barber shop. And I wanted to run in and see if it was him or not.
Maybe he'll tell us.
Yep.
Maybe.
It was close. It was close to where he lives. But we don't have to sit and just wait for him to say yes or no. Because he's really like, no.
Foxy, did you
somebody
come
else
up
with a really cool
questions?
truck.
Foxy, you got questions?
I wanted to ask if you guys could tell us a little bit about Project Piaba.
Absolutely. Ed, do you want to take the lead on that, and I can follow up?
Well, Project Piaba is originally, it's like to save, originally was rainforests, but they kind of moved it into the rivers also to try to save them. And their organization, like I said, trying to save wildlife and whatnot. But they support the native people to catch the fish. I mean, the part that we would be giving to would be to support the native people that catch our fish, like the neon, or is it cardinals or is it actually neon tetras?
The cardinal.
Okay, there's also a lot of other fish they're catching. Yeah,
there are a lot of other
But
things.
the
Absolutely.
idea is to pay them to do that versus having them go and do gold mining where they're putting lots of chemicals and stuff and just killing the water. And that's happened in so many rivers in South America and Mexico. It's a shame. And a lot of fish we'll never see again because they've been just wiped out, or they might be alive and care, as a care fish. But yeah, it's a pretty bummer. Big bummer.
Absolutely. Yeah, it initially started, a gentleman went down there and he saw these fish being collected and he thought, oh God, this has got to be horrible for the environment. And so he started collecting data and doing analysis to try and stop it. And then through collecting data and doing research and analysis, realized it was a very good thing, like Ed said. So it's very much worthwhile to support Project Piaba. The fish he's holding up, rack from used to be formerly River Life, now Pond Life and Bird Garden. Got those from Project Piaba. They were done by the native people down there. I've got one, a couple other people have them. They were pretty much sold off to help support that cause. There is an aquarium kit from Aqueon. It's a conservation kit that actually 10% of the proceeds go to Project Piaba. It's been so long since I did that video and I didn't sleep last night, so the details are a little on me at the moment, so forgive me. Very much worthwhile to support them. And it's always awesome when you can get fish that help to preserve nature and get those in your aquarium versus other things. So.
And how can we, people in chat, go ahead and support Project Piaba?
So you can check out, let me see if it's a .com or .org or .net before I say exactly what it is, because I don't remember off the top of my head. But they do have a website. They have a Facebook page too, I believe. And then I'll have to pull it up. I will find the link for it. I'm sure somebody could get it in there. Somebody will probably have it in the chat before I find it. But they do have a donation page, and there are a lot of other species. I think it's 100 plus species that are wrapped up in the Project Piaba. There we go. Project Piaba website. It is .org. Thank you, Merdul. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mitchell.
Another thing you can do is check with your local fish store, see if they're able to get any of those fish in. I know that my local fish store is partnered with Seagrass Farms in terms of their ordering. So Seagrass is one of the big importers, here in the United States. They get Project Piaba fish. They have a special section set up just for Project Piaba fish. So they bring them in and kind of slowly get them a little bit more acclimated to captivity, and then they ship them off. And then you can have them in your home aquarium.
So they take the adjustment out at least a little bit.
At least a little bit, yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That they've got a specific setup, so it helps to come closer to their pH and adjust out versus just bringing them in from wild caught straight into homemade parameters, if you will.
That I like that step. So many importers tend to skip that step when it's the wild caught fish, and that leaves many people with bad experiences. But for someone to help at least the acclimation process a little bit will definitely make your fish buying experience and wanting to support Seagrass Farms and Project Piaba better.
Absolutely.
Now, is Piaba, is that the branch that's only for the river that does the fish, or are they also for the birds and the other animals, the mammals and stuff that are living in the rainforest there?
So, as we all know, one thing impacts everything, circle of life and so on. So if you were to mess with or make dramatic adjustments to the wildlife in the rivers, that also impacts the local birds and other things that feed upon that. You have to remember they have a very bad, if you will, dry season, a very harsh dry season. So there are a lot of dead fish, I guess is the best way to put it. And that feeds a lot of animals in that area. So if you were to do something like you mentioned, the gold mining, or you dam things up and you remove those populations of fish from those rivers, that then impacts other local wildlife. So even though it may be particularly dealing with the aquatic wildlife, it definitely has a major impact on the other animals. And then, like you mentioned, on the native people there that have been doing this for generations and generations.
So it's a full chain effect.
It really is, yes.
Yeah, I read, we haven't heard a lot about Project Piaba lately since the world's kind of gone to the shakedown. And, I think the last thing I read was about a year ago. So it's nice that you brought it up.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Well, I know you guys were big supporters of it. I remember hearing about it, and then I heard all talk drop of it, and I was kind of curious for the follow-up. So it was my number one question.
Yep.
Bob is up to his comical self tonight.
Oh, Bob, I'll do those shots for you tonight. It'll be an interesting live stream later.
Oh, yeah. You still got a stream, don't you? Yeah. Hey, Priscilla.
Yes, welcome everyone that's come in the chat.
Lurking and driving.
Edgar's here too. He's super cool.
I saw Edgar there and Bottom Dwellers. I think he came in after we said the hellos. So my question is not as smart as Foxy's was, but I'm glad you did because now I know some stuff about that. More stuff about that. So what is your favorite substrate to use? I'm sure it changes with the type of fish, but I guess your favorite overall.
That's a good one.
Do you want to go first or me?
I can. And you really hit the nail on the head. It changes depending upon the fish. The most common substrate that I use, sorry, I keep looking over at the piranha tank.
Okay. But
the most common substrate that I use is probably just generic pea gravel from the hardware store. I enjoy the aquascaping soils and the sand tanks and the dirted tanks with sand caps and bare bottom and all of those wonderful things. But I think the most common thing I have, if you looked at how, by the pound, what I have the most of, it's going to be the the pea gravel, you spend $5 for 40 pounds of it, and you're good to go.
I like that as well.
Yeah, I did that for years. I always loved the pea gravel myself, and I also used to buy some of the expensive stuff at the stores, for different colors and niceness of it. But I have almost completely, well, I shouldn't say completely. I've got probably 40 tanks now that are sand capped. And I absolutely love it. It's, I never did plants up until about 2.5 years ago. And now I can't imagine a tank without plants.
Me either.
It's painful. And I love the sand cap because it makes it so easy for pulling plants. I've got a tank way up here that I was pulling some of my jungle val out. The chat's over and I can't see. Way up here, it's cloudy because I pulled dirt up, but I'm hoping that it'll go back
clear up. Yeah.
Nico stood.
It will settle because I was just pulling Italian val from my tank, and it's also sand capped, and I pulled some dirt up with it, and I let it settle overnight, and then I suctioned it out the next morning. So you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah.
It'll go away.
It'll settle, and then you make it go away.
Right.
I can tell you the substrate not to use is playground sand because they mix it with clay so it'll stick for the kids.
Oh yeah.
But what I did was I have about 15 different types, well not 15, maybe 10 different types of substrates that I plan on doing a study after a full year. What's the best. But that has never cleared up. I'm literally going to just pull the guppies out of that tank because I have loaches and cory cats in there also, and they're constantly stirring that clay.
That's why it's always cloudy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I'm going to just pull everybody out of that tank, and it's hard to see them, and start from scratch and never use play sand again.
Yeah.
I learned that in the beginning as well. Play sand is a no-no. Pool filter sand all day long.
Absolutely.
No issues.
That's what I went to get at Lowe's the other day to cap my pea puffer tank with, and they were out. Stop.
Of pool filter sand? Oh. Walmart also sells it, though. Just so you know.
I will say.
Cool. I don't know about my Walmart.
Right. I find it slightly ironic that we have so many issues with the play sand because of how fine the granules are, only with having experience in saltwater and how fine the live sand that we use in saltwater is, and not having issues there. But it's just an observation.
I think it comes from the play sand just needs to be washed really, really, really well. And I don't think any human on earth really has the patience to do it manually. That's what I think the issue is.
I can see where that would not.
They're actually adding clay, though, to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you can just get just sand, it would be wonderful. I have just normal sand in my 200-gallon tank. It's not play sand, it's just plain sand, and it's fine. But I love the pool sand. The pool sand is my go-to now because it's like it locks down plants. You stick a plant in there and it just sucks it in. I don't know. Yeah. And it's so clean and nice. Oh, I love it.
It holds it fast.
It moves. Okay. Biscotti has a question for Fishery Fever. Any tips on cleaning pea gravel? It's taken me forever to clean.
Absolutely. So I believe it's Fat Man Aquatics that has a very similar method to mine, but done on a larger scale. And Ed, you can correct me, but isn't it Fat Man that uses a tote with holes drilled in it? Yeah. So I use cat litter buckets because we have cats and we buy the litter in the big plastic buckets. But then I drill holes in it and then I just run the water through there and rinse all the particulate out that way. I found that to be the most efficient way. If I want to be really thorough, what I'll do once I've kind of run the water through there is I buy colanders at the dollar store. And then I'll take it a scoop at a time, just kind of give it a quick rinse, toss it in the clean bucket, just go from there.
Yeah, I think everyone has a colander in their fish supply.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, you should have one.
At least one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Fat Man You guys go check him out. He's brand new. I don't even think he has 100 subs. But he uses totes, like the big long totes that are gigantic, and he puts them on sawhorses. So he can drop the whole bag in there and just super fast.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then it dries real quick, too.
Yeah. I just don't have the space for the extra tote for that purposing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you've got the space, that's definitely a great way to do it. Like you said, super fast because you can get it thinned out. But most of us usually have room for a 5-gallon bucket, so I just kind of stack it with the others. But I love his method, and I may, if I find somewhere to have an extra tote hanging out, drill some holes in one of the totes. I'll drill some holes in that tote of yours that I have.
I was just about to say, don't drill it in mine.
So don't try it.
Yeah.
No, it'll be holy totes.
I need to get that back so I can fill it again for you.
You do. I was checking it out earlier, making sure it was still in good shape for you.
Okay, Bob says that Home Depot has Quikrete pool filter sand. And I actually have to go to the town where my LFS is tomorrow to get this hand rewrapped. So I may stop. They have a Home Depot and a Lowe's, so I may go by Home Depot while I'm over there and do that. Let's see.
I'm right there with him. The Quikrete is what I use. There are a lot of different brands, and not that one's necessarily better because I haven't tried the others, but I use the Quikrete as well and definitely recommend it.
Awesome. Let's see. Bottom Dweller says, what's the best way to move a 75-gallon tank in a truck bed? Strap it on a pallet or wedge it with a couple of thick blankets and a 40 breeder or two. Okay. I wouldn't know about that. You aquarium haulers.
Anyone ever have to move a big boy tank before?
Heck yeah.
Quite a few of them.
I thought y'all probably had.
Usually I just find a couple of ropes or ratchet straps will hold it in place fairly well. That or you get some relatives you don't care about too much delay in the back and kind of hold it in place as you go down the road.
Yeah, I helped move James's big 200+ one.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was drive, though. So I had it easy.
I don't know. How many tanks did y'all just have the 40 and the one that the angelfish were on in the back of your truck, Ed, when y'all moved these?
Yep.
And then you had like the fish and all that stuff.
You gave me a 55. Also, I don't know if that was in there at the time.
I bet. Let's see. I don't have to rinse pool, filter, or blasting sand. Okay, that sounds like my kind of deal.
I really don't have to do much rinsing on the pool filter sand. I used to rinse it, but the past couple times I've done it, I've just put it into the tank. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put it in there, and if I really feel the need to, I'll just siphon off some water and then top it off. But it's very minimal.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would do. Kind of like when you're first getting into setting up tanks, it's like first child syndrome. You overdo everything so it's pristine and perfect. But second, third time around, you're like, nah, just throw it in there. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll go.
It'll settle. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, Foxy, you got another question?
Yes, I wanted to ask, what are your guys' favorite aquarium plants?
Oh, yeah.
Favorite aquarium what?
Two-sided. It should be what's your favorite and what's your least favorite. But pretty sure I know the least favorite.
You said plants, didn't you?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, plants. Okay.
So I'm going to stick with the answer I gave the other day when I was asked this question. My least favorite is going to be duckweed. And I know that doesn't surprise a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a huge fan of duckweed, but it's my least favorite when it gets in a tank I don't want it to be in. And my favorite currently is the Crinum calamastratum, which I've got there. And you can't really see just how much. You can kind of see how much is bunched up in there, but that stuff has grown massive. I'm hoping to be able to transplant it over to the 220-gallon tank because it's 30 inches tall, 30 some odd inches tall. And really let it grow out. I'm hoping the piranhas won't nibble on it because they do that sometimes with plants.
I believe Aquarium Co-op had that in his 800-gallon behind him.
Yeah.
When he had his goldies in there, and that was a beautiful plant. I really loved it.
Oh yeah, and I really recommend, and Corey's mentioned it before, instead of trying to buy one really big one and spending a lot of money, you see a lot of people, where can I find a big one? Let's get you a couple of small ones in place of spending all that on one big one, and just let it grow out, because it's awesome and it's fun to watch it grow and do its thing.
And if you spend money on the big one, it might melt back on you anyways, and then you're left with a smaller one. So
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep. Are you waiting for my favorites?
Waiting.
yes, sir.
Well, boy, I have a bunch of different things. Probably my favorite to look at. Oh man, I don't even know if I can do that. I love the Kabumba. I think it's Carolina Kabumba or something like that. It's all over the South, and I just love how the guppies can swim through it, and it looks so nice with them. And the problem is, though, is it crashes. So it's like sometimes it goes crazy, sometimes it crashes, and it all just dies. It likes to float. It can bury it. You can bury it. It's a stem plant. It's just awesome. I just love it. I love Val. I think it's really cool to see fish swimming through Val.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I've got 3 different types of Val, and the corkscrew is probably my favorite, but it's probably the slowest growing out of them all. And and I love my water lettuce because it looks so cool, and shrimp walk up and down it. So cool. So every plant kind of has its own thing. The Nubius, man, it's great because you can stick it in there and it never will die. So, and it just makes any tank look fantastic.
All right, now if we're getting to throw out multiples, I'm going to have to add pogo to my list. You can't have that pogo stem on Stellatus octopus.
I love that one too.
I don't think there's a plant that I don't like, minus maybe duckweed. Not that I don't like it, it's just that it brings too many of its brothers and sisters to the party.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Do not like it.
And what is your least favorite plant, Ed?
I'll go with the duckweed also. Last night Nico was walking around and he had 5 pieces of duckweed on his back, and I'm like, "How is that possible?"
Maybe he likes duckweed.
It gets everywhere somehow. I think I have 2 types of duckweed.
My cat will actually, if I leave it out and it dries, like on the dish that I'm cleaning the tank from, he'll go over and eat it. So that's his extra source of protein for the day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Then algae wafers. He's crazy about duckweed and algae wafers.
Does he have it on him now? Oh, he has it on him now.
I have 2 types of duckweed. This is the fine stuff that's little, but then I have some thicker duckweed. And the thick stuff kills off the thin stuff, which is cool, but I hate to stick the big, because it's easier to pull the thick stuff out than the little stuff. But I just still have a hard time putting any duckweed in any tank.
The worst
is allelopathy, plant warfare.
Yeah. Want to eat this?
That's so metal.
I have yet to experience duckweed, thank goodness.
We'll send you some. I've probably got about 2 or 3 gallons I've got to clean out of a rack next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, it can be
send you some guppy
dehydrated.
grass.
You only need 1 piece. It needs to be dehydrated. I could put it in an envelope. You can accidentally drift in the air, land in your tank, and overtake
Then
your
it'll just blow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
I'll give you some some guppy grass that looks like it's perfect, and there'll be 1 seed or something in there.
Right, one little piece on it. Deborah, the hand is getting better, but as I told them earlier, my bandage is coming off. It's like only 4 days old. You can see the stitches, and they tell me not to get it wet, and they told me not to take this off till I came back. It's coming off by itself. So
You got to quit gravel vacuuming with that hand.
I know. I worked today, and that's when a lot of it had already come off, but handling stuff all day long, it just gradually made its way off.
Yeah.
This would be a great time to pick a fight with Amy, because she can only use 1 hand.
My store manager kept asking me today, did I want to arm wrestle? I said, no, I do not want to arm wrestle. He came back by this afternoon late. He said, what about now? Do you want to arm wrestle now? And I said, no, not now either. I had trigger finger surgery, Jessica. This thumb was locked up and I couldn't use it at all. And they went in right here and clipped some ligaments or something. I don't really know, and did a release. And so right now I'm able to move it before I could move it at all.
You
So
didn't need that surgery. You could have come and played with my piranhas, and they'd have taken care
they
of
would
that
have
for
taken
you.
care
Yeah,
of it for me.
absolutely. Yeah.
Do they give anesthetic? Anesthesia? Yeah.
No, they don't. Now I've got
Well,
a
I think
hand
it's so
sledge. We
quick
can
you
just
wouldn't. Yeah,
Have some
so quick
clove
you wouldn't
oil.
feel it.
Knock me out. Knock me out. It was pretty cool.
Well, for humans, I think you use Prime.
Yeah.
I have plenty of that. I have
Coincidentally, it works as smelling salts too. You just shake the bottle under their nose and they're back out of it.
okay. Yeah, they told me, he said, you may wake up during the surgery, but you won't know it. He said, your hand is numb, so you won't feel pain. He said, but you won't know it if you wake up. And I said, look, make sure I don't wake up. I don't want to wake up. That's just not something I want to do.
Yeah.
But they
Don't
said I
tell me
did.
that.
I don't remember it anyway. Okay, so number of years in the hobby, like total number of years.
Off and on all of my life. You never ask a lady her age. No,
Never.
I mean,
Well, I'm going to sound worse than you, buddy.
Yeah. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I'm the same way. About 40 years. Yeah.
I knew it was like a really long time, and probably even as children or younger, that I had heard y'all say that before. So it's kind of like been a lifelong thing for you.
It has, and there's been a couple of breaks where I haven't had tanks, but I very much missed the tanks, and they always came back into my life. I'm grateful for that.
Right.
Yeah, I've noticed that once you get into the hobby, it kind of finds its way into your DNA. No, you'll never be free of it again, no matter what.
And I hope not. People now, friends of mine that come over and they see these tanks, they're like, we had no idea you were interested or that you did this kind of thing. I said, I had no idea I was interested either. It just kind of like bit you, and there you go. So it's not something that I want to get rid of. It's peaceful and good therapy. Good therapy.
Absolutely.
I still remember my first fish. I was 4 years old, and my dad bought my sister and I a molly each. And I got a black molly, and she got a gold molly. So we had a black and gold mollies. And they died the next day because he didn't treat the water. And then he got into it so hardcore, he started raising guppies and Cory cats and selling them all over Kansas and Missouri.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he got us new fish like a week later with a real 10-gallon tank, and it was a fish bowl with 2 mollies in it. So
classic fish bowl style.
yeah, with a castle, and I wish I still had that castle. It was fluorescent pink and orange.
Oh wow!
I bet you could find a white one and paint it.
Or eBay.
Or eBay, as Amazon. Hey, my best friend.
Especially this past year. Yes.
Exactly.
And my question for you guys is, what are your fish room plans for 2021?
Ed, would you like to go first? You want me to take this one first?
No, I'll go. I'm constantly doing things, and I still don't think I'm truly done. So, like we mentioned early, Amy gave me a 55 tank. That's Nathan's, and I've been saving it for something special. And I've got a sump. I've never had a sump in my life, and James is going to help me hook it up. And I'm going to put 2 55s because I got another 55 from somebody else, and then Nathan's will be underneath. So Nathan's will be like the one that you can see perfect. And I'm going to take Pam's Daisy Rice fish. They're in a 10-gallon right now. And the only way for me to breed them is to me pull like moss out of the tank and stick it in a different tank for the eggs to go. But Jesse from
HC Aqua.
Yes, HC Aqua. Where's my HC Aqua sticker? Huh.
Blame it on the
here it
cat.
is.
Yeah,
From
I was just
HC.
thinking, blame it on the cats.
From HC. He said that he's been breeding them really well in a large tank because they scatter their eggs so all over the place they can't find the bait or the eggs. And so I think I'm going to do that with just shrimp and hopefully get a bunch of them.
So
like
the
a really
rice
good
fish, do they eat their own eggs? Will they eat them if they can find them?
Yeah, they're eating their own eggs. It's
Got
really
it.
cute though because the girls swim in circles with like a little grape. You know, it looks like a couple little grapes on their back end, and then they drop them.
I have some of those daisy blues myself, and a couple of them look like they might be gonna have. I thought babies, but eggs or lay eggs or whatever. But they're in the big 40-gallon with the pea gravel in the bottom and no live plants because those silver dollars would eat the live plants. So I don't
Every
know how
fish in that
successful
tank.
I'll be.
Yeah, every fish in that tank's gonna eat those eggs.
Really.
Yeah,
Dang.
they're just delicious. The only thing that only fish that prey won't will be like a auto cat.
I may have to move them to another tank like of their own and put live plants in it or something.
As Michael's Fish Room says, fry and eggs are delicious and nutritious. They're going to get all eaten up.
Ooh. Dang.
So true.
Let's see here.
There went that camera.
Uh-oh.
James has been having problems with his.
Hey, there we
We
go.
think it's like in his computer. Actually.
Visual equipment, huh?
Yes.
Yep.
Now we're on this camera. I don't know. I've got like 4 cameras set up. There we go. We'll go with this one for now.
Okay. My turn? Or your
Yes,
turn?
ma'am. It's your turn.
Let's see. So I know there are a lot of people kind of like me in the beginning that only had the one fish tank, or maybe they don't have a fish tank at all, but they do have pets. So I know that Ed does have other pets, and I'm pretty sure you do, James. So do you have other pets besides fish?
Me or you, Ed?
She was asking you.
Me specific. Okay, I didn't know which one of us was going first. Yes,
Well, you can tell us about your two too, Ed, because some people might not know.
4 cats and a dog, along with the fish. And to answer the previous question, my plans, I am downsizing.
Dang.
So I broke down 16 tanks earlier today. Probably end up with about 3 dozen tanks when it's all said and done, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
But as we've talked about, it really does progress quickly, and life happens to all of us. So you have to find that optimal level of happiness where you're able to enjoy the hobby.
Right.
So that's what I'm working on. But yeah, I've
Right.
got 4 cats and 1 dog now. So, and there goes that port, it looks like, for that camera. No, we actually
have. Go ahead.
I was say a fun fact. Ed and I actually have a couple animals that share names. We each have a Bo and we each have a Nico.
Well, that's cool.
Actually, I don't have a Bo.
Well,
Bo just likes to visit me.
He doesn't, but he lives there.
He lives in the house just upstairs.
Yeah, he lives on my folks' half of the house.
Gotcha.
I used to have a Nico just as well, a guinea pig.
So
Oh.
cool.
Nice.
I didn't know you had a guinea pig.
I used to have him. He has since passed, but he was an awesome little guy.
They are
Sorry
so
to hear that.
cute. They are so
Mhm.
cute. Ed, what? It's Nico and Baby Cat.
Yep. She's sleeping in a box on the other side of the table, but Nico's
Aww.
actually he's sleeping on my right hand, so I can't use the mouse.
Animals are always like that.
Oh yeah.
If mine get on me, I feel guilty if I need to get up to do something. You know, I don't want to disturb them. I just kind of sit there and wait, however long it might be. Oh my, Swampy Acres. 1 cow, 2 cats, 5 rabbits, 2 chickens, 25 chicks, 2 dogs. He has a petting zoo.
Yes,
Yes,
I
he
would say
does.
he does.
Yes, he does.
Hello, S. Hello, Swampy. Welcome everyone that has come in while we've been chatting.
Yes.
Excuse
I've been
me,
kind of
my-
watching, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
I have a little furry she wants hugs. Okay. 1 second. Technical difficulties.
Is
There
that
she is.
great? Is that
That's
Roman or
Gracie.
Gracie?
That is Gracie. And she wants cuddle time. So give me 20 minutes.
Say, wait, little kitty.
She's not one that takes no for an answer.
No, they don't ever. Cats don't. It's in their time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Foxy, it's your turn.
What is your favorite fish?
In the whole wide world?
In the whole
Yes.
wide world.
Well, that opens it up.
Yeah, I know. I have two fish that I really like.
Mm.
I normally I don't like to name my fish because when I do, it's kind of a jinx.
Mm.
But I've got a banded bisher named Baishi that I really like a lot. And then I've got one angelfish that I absolutely love. It's got pearl skin and it's a koi pearl skin, so it's a pearl skin koi angel that I absolutely love. It's got a kind of a messed up jaw, so it's always kind of like this, and I love that. But now, if just favorite fish in the whole wide world, like if I could have a fish, I think I might go with a mandarin because they're just really cool. They're saltwater.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
I just love how they look. They're so cool.
So I'm gonna have to go with my piranhas. I have to go with the piranhas. It's really close with the zebra plecos and the piranhas, but I love
What
the
about
piranhas.
Buddy though?
I mean, Buddy's an awesome guy. Buddy is a bisher. He's the one that kind of Ed came over and saw him, and he's all like hanging out of the glass, following your finger and all that, and it's like I want one like that. He's
Took
awesome.
me a long time, but I did it.
He doesn't do that quite as much now that he's got several other bishers in with him. If I had to pick one out of just like anything, let's go with something different here. Let's go with the blue ring octopus.
Those are beautiful.
I was looking at those today.
Horrible idea, but very, very beautiful.
I don't name my fish either, Ed, except one. I only have one that's named, and it's my long fin albino bristlenose pleco, and her name is Fiona. And that's the only one I've named.
I'm hoping that one of my bristlenose grows up and has a lot of bristles because I'm going to name it Cthulhu.
That'd be a really good name.
Thank you.
Kids
I'm a
will,
huge Cthulhu nut.
kids will tend to take care of the not naming thing for you.
Right, right.
Mhm.
I bet they all have names.
Yeah, I only have a couple of my fish named as well. But if I have a group of them, I usually name like the group of the fish, like the Cory gang or the Golden Girls, the Mystery Snails.
Yes, I like the Golden Girls. Let's see.
And actually, I didn't have just one clutch of eggs hatched this week. I found a second hatched clutch
Oh, no.
in one tank. Girl, I got a lot of snails.
You're going to have a bunch of snails.
That
bunches and
there
bunches.
has to be maybe about 400 ivory babies just
Wow.
everywhere in there at the moment. It's crazy.
Will mystery snails crawl out of your tank?
Yes.
Yes.
They do for some people, but I've never had that issue. But
I
also
have
all
never
my
either.
tanks have that inner lip.
So the only time I've ever had that happen was when I raised the water level so that they wouldn't lay eggs. And they found a gap in the lid and then went up onto the wall because those tanks on that rack were all the way up against the wall. So then they crawled up the drywall about that far above the tank and laid a clutch of eggs on the wall.
Oh, great.
They were just bound in
There's a way.
Yeah.
Did they go back?
They did. They did.
Oh, well, that's good.
So.
Well-
Merdul, I do need to get Fiona a Shrek. I have the bristlenose that I got from Fisher and Fever. All four of them have made it. They are beautiful. I love it when their little fins on their backs stand up. I have not named them, but will they breed with the long fin?
Was it the blue-eyed lemons?
It's the blue-eyed lemons.
They
Probably
definitely
not.
can. They
Can
definitely
they?
can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with them just being a variation of ancestris, I wouldn't put it past them. So, because I mean, I've seen just about anything bushy nose breed with any other variant of bushy nose. It's
Yeah.
really weird the things you can get. I've got one of the viewers that we're kind of doing a study, if you will. She's getting a lot of like pure, like Snow White plecos, and I enjoy looking at the genetics of them. Like I've got a pair. Neither of the parents are albino, but they drop about 30 to 35% albino babies every single time.
Wow.
So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
Steph
the
asked,
lemons.
Steph asked, how do I keep enough calcium in the tank for all the snails? I feed them calcium chips. I also add powdered limestone to the water, or I just do more water changes because I have well water, and that has a pretty good amount of calcium already in the water. And Holly, do you leave them on the side of the tank or in a nursery? No, I just let them hatch and fall into the tank, and survival of the fittest. The strong ones will make it.
Nature
So,
taking its course.
yes, ma'am.
Or the dumb lucky ones.
400 baby snails. Can you imagine? Well,
But
she can't imagine, but
there's plenty of food sources in there for them. They get water changes. There's no other aggressive fish to eat them. They're doing pretty good so far. So,
so far so good.
yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm just going to update chat real quick because I did notice a couple of people asking about it. We were going to do giveaways tonight. We are not doing those tonight. We're going to postpone those till next Thursday night. I think probably what we'll do next Thursday night is like a hangout, and we'll have plenty of time. But also, I just didn't feel like tonight was I didn't feel like giveaway. I felt kind of not. So I think,
Yeah.
that's just what we're going to do. We're going to postpone it till next week and do a hangout, and maybe it'll be a happier day. I just think that's what we need to do. So,
Hmm. I agree.
what
Um,
about a least favorite fish? That was one of my questions. Was a favorite fish, and what's one of your least favorite fishes? Which probably y'all don't have a least favorite.
I have one I don't like. I don't like eels. I've had eels eat too many things that I like and they hide. I don't like eels. Now, James had a beautiful saltwater eel, and I know that there's like some neat tiger track ones. There's a lot of just crappy eels out there that'll just chew on your fish at night, and you'll think that your fish have cancer. And you'll never see the eel because they're hiding under the rocks and stuff. So I don't like eels.
I think I'm going to stick with my previous answer to this when I was last asked, and that is pacu, however you prefer to pronounce it. They're awesome fish, but they get so big. I mean, they're really enjoyable, but they get annoyingly big, and I think that's probably going to have to be my least favorite.
And not only do they get big, but they get big quick.
They do.
So you're sold a 2-inch fish, and then in 6 months you got a tank buster.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will substitute those for piranhas where they're not legally allowed to have piranhas, and it's not the same fish at all.
Yeah.
But they can be really nice fish.
They can. I've had a couple, and I actually ended up setting up an outdoor pool, a very large outdoor above ground pool for them because they got so big. Back when I was in my monster fish phase of fish keeping. Cool fish. Enjoyed them.
Yeah, other fish won't mess with them either. That's kind of cool, too. They're just big, nice guys.
Yeah. It's just one of those that once you have them, there's really not much you can do with them if they do get to be too much for you.
Instead of piranha, get silver dollars. I have silver dollars, Steph. You can't put a live plant anywhere near that thing. I think they would even eat the plastic ones if they could chew them up.
And we seem to have a lot of calcium talk in the chat right now.
Mm-hmm.
A few people have asked if the garden lime is okay to use, or the garden limestone. I'm not sure. I actually get my powdered limestone from Crayfish Empire. That's also where I get my calcium chips from. And if you don't even need to make an order, but you can request a free sample, and they'll send you 11 ounces of powdered limestone just
That's
for
where
the
I got
cost
mine.
of shipping.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
he'll also have other samples of like snail cookies, snail pellets, shrimp sticks. Like he does a lot of invert food, and it's high quality food. And he's um, just an excellent person to do business with. So I definitely recommend Crayfish Empire for all your snail and shrimp needs.
Yeah, my snails love the snail cookies.
It seriously is like snail crack. I don't know what's in it, but they love it.
Exactly. And you can drop it in the tank and they're like, zoom, here they come.
Yeah,
Shrimp do
Nice.
like that, those snail cookies too.
yeah,
They
they
seem to
do.
like them well. But yeah, I get a lot of my stuff from there, and I finally learned how to use that powder. After you talked about it that night, I didn't really know how to mix it in the tank, but so I started doing it with my big tank because I have the big mysteries in there, and then I do it with my snails. I mean my shrimp too.
Yeah, and it
All
works pretty
right,
well.
it does. It works well. Got another question?
I am actually out of questions for the moment.
I have
That's
one
all I had
other.
to ask.
Um, do you guys have a favorite YouTube channel that you watch for, like, I guess your personal viewing pleasure? I mean, is there somebody that you follow that um you really like that some of us might be interested in?
Well, I think that the Amy and Foxy show is a great show to watch, and everybody should check them out.
Brownie
Thank
points out.
you. Thank you, Ed.
I saw this
Yeah.
guy once. I need to watch more of his videos. It's Chattanooga Ed. I recommend you check him out. He's
Absolutely.
Now, whatever you
Absolutely.
guys do, don't say fish room because it'd be funnier.
honestly,
Craziness.
I don't know that I have one that I can recommend that people don't already know about.
Right.
If I had to give you three, and this is where it gets rough, because you don't want to offend anybody. But if I had to go with three, like, channels that I started watching, that kind of got me into doing it, and I went to seek knowledge and advice and things. It's Aquarium Co-op, KG Tropicals, and then I really enjoy Steven Falk because he's just a cool guy, and he's got a lot of knowledge. But everybody pretty much knows those. I will say, and love him or hate him, I've really enjoyed the King of DIY back when he was more in the DIY, versus the check out the new fish. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, obviously there's a million people that absolutely love that, and I still enjoy his stuff, but I like the educational and informational stuff. So,
Well, how I discovered FishTube, I was hurt with my back. I had to just lay in bed for a really long time with my spine injury. And I was like, what cool type of helmets can I make for my fish tank? Because I really wanted a old ancient-y looking helmet in my fish tank. And I saw some guy made a Iron Man helmet for his fish tank. And then from there, I watched all of those, and it suggested that I watch Sean Peck. And so I watched a whole bunch of Sean, and I didn't even realize that there was this community. So I started watching Sean, and then it introduced me to Corey, just by suggesting to watch Corey. So those two, I never thought about. Every time I tried to do plants since the early 80s, I was always killing them. I never got plants to live. I killed those banana plants. I killed everything. Only thing I had alive was algae. I wish I had done that then. But I guess I couldn't even keep that alive because I never had it. But I had lots of goldfish, so they probably would have ate it. But nevertheless,
Well, and that's another one that I
those
feel
two
bad
are
leaving
cool.
Sean off the list because he's an actual friend of ours who lives here. But I found him out later on after those. I'm sorry, Sean, if you see this. I love you, buddy, and I love your stuff.
But I don't think a lot of Americans know about Sean. A lot of his audience is European because they really love his micro tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish he was like, I mean, I think people have heard of him, but they don't really pay attention enough to him because he's really awesome.
Fisher and Feeder, Bottom Dwellers wants to know the best budget canister filter for a 75-gallon tank.
Bottom Dwellers, can I answer that in my stream later? Because there's actually a filter that I got a hold of use, and I don't have a clue what the brand is, but I'm absolutely loving this thing, and it's hooked up to a tank in another room, and I can check on that once we get done here and give you that answer in a little bit, because I'm sure you'll probably be around. I saw that there, and I was like, what's the name of that filter? Because it's worked really, really well. It came with the setup that I got. And I know it's not an expensive one. So I will get the name of that when we get done. And I do want to say, Kira Corridorable, thank you very, very much for that. She mentioned only being subbed to 2 channels monthly. And
I saw that, yeah.
I really do appreciate that. You don't know how much that means to me. I love all you guys.
Talking about, she has a good channel. She talks all about seeds and stuff, and that's pretty cool. And then, like, we talked a little bit about Fat Man, just a brand new guy coming out. I enjoy watching a lot of different stuff. So, well, I like watching my guy at Aquatic Aesthetics, my fish store. Every time I say his name, I go, but he's starting out, but I enjoy it. Maybe it's because I know him. I don't know. That's probably why. But he's got a lot of good information, and I love it when he says something that I told him about, and it's like, oh yeah, just because he'll like mention something that that just made me feel good, that I actually gave him a bit of a nugget of knowledge that he shared.
I have to say, like, one of my guilty pleasure fish tube channels is MD Fish Tanks. Oh my goodness, I love his tanks, the way he scapes. I don't like that he tears his tanks down within a year to redo them all, but they're gorgeous while they're up. I really love what he's got going on over there.
Have to check that one out.
Mm-hmm. And a not fish thing that I watch, I'm obsessed with Ants Canada. And they put out a new episode every Saturday, so that's my Saturday morning cartoon. I get up, watch Ant Canada, I have my coffee, and that's my Saturday. Like, that's a really cool channel. I highly suggest that to everyone in chat.
I used to watch him religiously, but when he started doing all the Beetle stuff, I just stopped. I don't know why, but I stopped watching.
Wrestling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Beetle stuff was just boring to me. That's terrible for me to say. But
he's currently having a house built, and most of the house is going to be dedicated to the ants. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh, like ants, like crawling ants?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. I got to check that out.
Oh, he's really awesome. He's Ant Canada, but he's in the Philippines.
Yes, but he's from Canada. That guy started out in Canada, and he moved to the Philippines. That's why his name is Ants Canada still.
Super cool guy and great, amazing footage.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know we've missed a lot of things in chat tonight because I was trying to go back and forth. But if we missed something, I apologize. We'll get it. And I did say a lot of things, but I didn't want to interrupt and go, hey. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. And it's 7:00 now, so it's really, our time is up. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. Y'all know what you mean to me. You got me here, and I appreciate it so much. I see that James, yours is on the way. I told Ed, I said, don't show it to James. He'll think he's not getting one.
No, you're
getting one.
So
I just had to get them all mailed out. And
I'm hoping to
I got
be able
most
to buy
of them the
some
week that it
shirts sitting from
snowed.
the fish fam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I got those in the week that it snowed, and I didn't get to mail anything for like a whole week. We had no mail service for an entire week.
So
So,
crazy.
it's just crazy. It was crazy, and we're still catching up on mail. So, it's
Yeah, and I want to take a moment to just say, God bless Bjorn, and if you guys can donate to his family's fundraiser, it would be greatly appreciated. I know it would mean the world. And Bunny, if you're watching, we are with you.
Absolutely. Cop was one of those that he was in the group of the very first subscribers that ever came to my channel before it was anything. But it was just me doing goofy rambling stuff with 5 or 6 people showing up. And he continued to always show up and always share it out. Every time he would say something, because he was always there, whether he said something or not. But
He was
anytime he'd say
always
something, I
lurking.
was like,
Always
"There's
lurking.
Cop," and that's a name I'll never forget.
Yeah.
His loyalty, and he
will be missed.
very much be missed. Yes, absolutely.
So, KG Tropicals is next, or they're probably already on. So, is that right? I think.
Should be, yes.
Yeah.
Accept
Okay.
I took notes on a lot of stuff in chat that I can answer later on in our live streams. So,
All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for coming. I appreciate it. Foxy appreciates it. Love y'all.
Thank you guys.
Love everybody in chat. Thanks for coming. I
Thank
saw
y'all.
a note. Somebody said we had 49 people in the room, so that's awesome. We are
Thank
excited.
you, everyone.
Yes, thanks. And we'll see you guys later on y'all streams.
Very much appreciate it.
Great.
All
Thank
See you
right.
there.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.